Welcome back to another episode of Mock Draft. I got all the boys here from the Feo Grande YouTube network, and we're breaking down another top 10 list. This week it is the top 10 GOATs of all time. This is not who you think the GOAT is. This is not who the internet thinks the GOAT is. This is who we think the GOAT is. Our personal top 10 list. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to count them down, starting with 10, going up to number 1. Everybody gets a point. Number 10 gets 1 point. Number 1 gets 10 points. We'll add them up at the end and see who the definitive Feo Grande top 10 GOATs of all time are. All right, boys, you ready to do this?
Let's get it. So to let everybody know real quick, I was going to say to let the people watching. So Bill had the idea a little bit ago. It was a while. It took some time for us to find, like, in everybody's schedule, because we're 4, grown men, find time to come together to record this. So we did not like throw these lists together, but these lists we didn't make these lists up like a month ago and have them sitting. Absolutely. But we are all educated fans. Exactly. And can provide a well-developed opinion.
Almost 30 years of watching wrestling among us all. So, yes.
Dang.
What's your actual answer, Jess?
I don't know if y'all can see that.
Randy, okay.
I don't know if y'all can see that. Damn.
No.
Mercedes won. All right, so
Monet.
we have Mercedes Monet.
All right.
Omari, what was yours?
Kenny Omega.
Randy Orton after Samantha Irvin joke.
Randy Orton.
And then I chose Scott Hall.
Okay. Yeah. So I picked Mercedes Monet because I think she is the greatest female wrestler in North America of all time. I think she is like in-ring ability. And I think like a bunch of women are inspired by her. Her and Bayley put women's wrestling in North America on the map. So you got to give her credit for what women's wrestling is today in North America. So that's what I say. That's what I think. Nobody comes close to her.
I love it. Yeah, 4 horsewomen. What is it? Actively, as we record this, 9 kayfabe championships.
Yep.
9.
So
you have to imagine she's gonna get the 10.
All 4 of those women are still active. All 4 of them. That's crazy.
Yeah. Jazz, you want to go with Randy Orton?
Randy Orton. So I was thinking, who would I put for number 10? Because as we all discussed, coming up with 10 GOATs is crazy. But look, there's something to be said for not just being around for as long as Randy Orton has been around, but also been on top. The man was on top when he first got into the business, found himself, got bigger. The man had the high profile Legend Killer. Well, I don't know what Amari's laughing about.
I'm laughing at Ibn and I both simultaneously doing the same motion when you said when he came into the business. Ibn and I both had the same mannerism of you keep talking.
But yeah, no, the man been on top. The man, what he had, the Legend Killer thing, punting everybody into oblivion. The 09 Orton is legendary to this day. And there really, like I say, is something to be said for the fact that you got somebody who has been there forever, never really left for that long, stayed around, always been on top. So I was like, who could it be? And he's number 10 because his influence and what he's done, as good as it is, there are people who have done a whole lot bigger, better, whatever things for that matter. But I mean, come on, he's undeniable. He really is.
Hey, St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it just for STL, but yeah.
But represent nonetheless.
STL zone.
I'll go next. I had Scott Hall, the bad guy, aka Razor Ramon. If you're new to this channel, I am your voice of classic wrestling. I am your voice of wrestling. And you will find probably that my list will skew a little older than some. Scott Hall is one of the greatest of all time. That's the only way I could say it. He is one of, if not the greatest wrestler to never hold a heavyweight title. He is one of the greatest sellers of all time. He is one of the greatest wrestling minds of all time. He saw a thing getting popular in Scarface and was like, you know what? Let me do that.
That was his idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He had a good buddy in a new place that he was working at, struggling, trying to figure out what he was going to do with the rest of his career. And he goes, hey, yo, I saw this movie. It's called The Crow. You should check it out. I think it would be a good
that was his
wrestling
idea.
gimmick."
Oh shit.
Scott Hall invented Crow Sting. Greatest of all time. Number 10 for me.
Okay.
Omari, Kenny
Yeah.
Omega?
That is entirely fair. Kenny Omega is on my list. He made it in I think we all said picking 10 goats. It's crazy. But I will say for someone whose list probably is gonna skew heavily in WWE territory when it comes to this category, I did want to include a guy who's, it's one man's opinion, but everybody seems to agree with that said one man. He has like a ton of 5-star matches. He's ridiculous at
5-star
that
plus.
point. I don't think AEW's first run is nearly as strong if you don't have him included in the card and everything as a draw and all of that. Why so low at 10 then? I'm WWE biased. Money and fame is WWE biased, and the success in that regard is WWE biased. So the heights that he could have reached, he does. It's ridiculous of the heights that he has reached are. I would never reach that kind of heights that he's reached. But the people on this list technically got higher in that regard. But having met the dude as well, real cool dude.
That's dope.
Kenny Omega.
All right. We ready to write? Everybody got their number 9s written?
Mhm.
Bruno Sammartino for Jazz, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Brock Lesnar, and Manami Toyota.
Oh,
Ibn with the deep cuts. Let's start with Omari, Brock Lesnar.
yeah. I know.
Brock
Lesnar.
Lesnar.
The one time, the numerous time reigning, defending undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion amongst other types of champions, Brock Lesnar.
The one in 21 and
he
1.
is now, strictly talking about him as a wrestler. He came in as the next big thing. He was a freak of nature, and people bought it immediately. It was real easy to buy. He had that first ridiculous run, SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, all that kind of stuff. It was clear Brock Lesnar was something of the future. Leaves the WWE, goes to UFC, wins the championship in UFC against Randy Couture, so it's not like he beat a scrub to do it. Has the title there for a while, then comes back, doesn't seem to miss a beat, has, I think, better matches than he did beforehand, even though he largely became suplex related. But that was Cena and Stone Cold's idea, apparently. So I can't really hate on that. But the bottom line is he's one of my favorite characters of all time. This is part of why I asked about objective versus subjective. Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's one of the greatest, in my opinion. Everybody knows him. He's one of the names on this list that transcends wrestling. I think just about all the rest of the names on my list transcend wrestling, except for maybe one. Yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Right on. Number nine for me is Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Speaking of never won a championship.
Yeah. Before I found folks that will be farther on my list, I found Roddy Piper. I was a big classic pay-per-view VHS watcher. That's how I talk the wrestling. And I was never a Hulk Hogan guy. I was always whoever was not Hulk Hogan. Whether it be Ultimate Warrior, like the biggest single peak as a child was probably Warrior for me. But Roddy Piper was the largest sustained. You want somebody on a mic, like you want somebody to sell a match for this Sunday. I don't know if there are
Yeah.
many people better than this guy. And not to mention criminally underrated when you discuss actors, wrestlers turned actors.
Mm-hmm.
They live as a
Yeah,
classic. They live as a classic.
Yes.
I've always said with Piper that you got a lot of wrestlers that when they talk, it's believable. With Piper, you'd be like, is he really? Does he really mean this? Like it was almost like you really thought the dude playing. He's like he might really want to hurt this man for real. He knows this is fake, right? His shit was so fucking convincing. Yeah.
Jess,
Bruno Sammartino.
why?
No,
I mean,
no, look.
Really?
Like,
He just wants the wrestling nerds to be like, Jazz has got the only correct list.
Okay,
You have
Let the
never
record-
seen one match from this dude, Jess.
I'm over here and I'm trying to think who can I put on the list, real talk. And of course, a lot of names just come like that. And when you think of wrestling and you think of who people mean to the business in and of itself, one of the names that did pop into my head was Bruno Sammartino. If we were talking about not just our favorites, but we're talking about the top 10 greatest of all time, in all actuality, Bruno Sammartino should probably be number one on all of our lists if we're talking about what they mean to wrestling and what they did for wrestling. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like Bruno Sammartino is like, ooh, my top 10 guy and I know everything about him. But if I'm talking about somebody that this is what they did for wrestling, what wrestling would be without them, there would be none, the impact they had and all that shit, there you go. To be fair, no. The reason why he is number 9 is because Randy Orton was 10, but the reason why he is number 9 is because, no, I can't name a Bruno Sammartino match. But if I think about Bruno Sammartino in and of itself and what he means for the thing, and if we're talking about top 10 GOATs, then there you go.
Yeah, you went more objective. And that's fine. That's part of why I asked beforehand when we doing objective and subjective.
Because like I say, I'm a big believer that if you talk about the true essence of rap, Rakim should probably be number 1 on everybody's list, but that's not always the case. Bruno Sammartino should probably be number 1 on all our lists, but that's not going to be the case. That's all I'm just saying. There you go.
Ibn with the deep cut.
So I said Manami Toyota. So a lot of people do not like Dave Meltzer for whatever reason. I read him every now and then for news, and sometimes read him for like match suggestions. If he says like this was a 5-star match or above, or like I'll check it out every now and then. So he's rated Manami Toyota like 5 stars here, 5 stars there, 5 star, 5 star. I'm like, let me check out Manami Toyota. So I went on YouTube and looked at Manami Toyota. She had a match. I forget the girl's name, but she fought her as like 94, 95, something like that. Dude, she was doing shit nobody's doing now. No woman's doing now. No man's doing now in wrestling right now. Back in 94, 95. So if y'all ever get a chance, check her out on YouTube. Y'all see what I'm talking about. It's some of the craziest shit in the world, dude.
I just added her. I added her to my watch list. I'm gonna be checking that out.
Check that shit out. Shit's crazy. Doing shit no man, no woman was doing back then. No man, no woman's doing right now. It's insane, dude.
So yeah, I hadn't heard of Manami Toyota, but glad I heard about her today. And yeah, to be fair, Jazz, like I did consider Bruno thing earlier, like when I was wondering about objective list, I'm like, well, let's just go.
Everybody got number 8 written?
Mm-hmm.
Reveal in 3, 2, 1.
This nigga. Can y'all see mine?
Oh my god.
Can y'all see mine?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I missed him. That's the first one that I'm upset about.
Me? Oh, me?
Yeah. The fact that I didn't think of him when I was writing down my 10.
Didn't cross my mind either.
I definitely wouldn't have had a
I'll start on this one.
somebody on this list.
A lot of the same shit that Ibn said. Basically on this slot, I was like, which 4-horsewoman am I going to put here? And for me, Bailey is my personal favorite. When I jumped back into wrestling and started absorbing all of the 4-horsewoman stuff, she was just the one that I emotionally connected with the most. If you want to go into in-ring, I do tend to gravitate towards someone who is just a percentage sloppy isn't the right word, but like a way that so sometimes it makes it feel like a real scrap when it's not perfectly smooth. And I think a Bailey match when it's best has that to it because she's got that scrap gene in her, in very much like a Roddy Piper kind of way. I mean, all of the accolades that any 4-horsewoman could muster. Great baby face, great heel. One of my favorite matches of all time in the Brooklyn match. With Mercedes, an originator of women's tag team wrestling. So I mean, yeah, number 8 on my list.
I'll go next. I've had Mr. Reigns, the tribal chief and all of that, the big dog, etc. Mr. Uwa himself. I've at least been partially a Roman Reigns fan for the majority of his career. There was a time where I was just like everybody else, and it's like, oh my God, can he lose the title already? Or, okay, the big dog ain't working, Vince. We can stop this now. But before I was there, hey, that was my original favorite member of the Shield. I remember the first time I saw the dude, I liked the alliteration, I liked the look, and I'm like, yeah, Roman Reigns, that sounds like a cool name. It was like his one promo in NXT before he went to main roster. But the person sitting next to me was like, God damn it, it's Liaki. And I was like, oh, am I not supposed to like this guy? And so that always tainted whether or not I went full Roman Reigns fan. Is because I'm like, well, real wrestling fans apparently don't like this dude. But as I got with time, I'm like, you know what, screw it. And especially in light of what he's done in recent times with that long reign that anybody could have done. And to put it in Bill's words, yes, anybody could have done it, but not anybody had leukemia while they were doing it.
Damn, that's facts. Yeah.
And so for him to do all of that with leukemia, for him to take his character from the whole nepotistic launch pad that it started with to the crash of the big dog to when he's getting dumped with dog food on him and having Baron Corbin beat him in a match, only to turn it around, completely reinvent the character in the time where TV had to go without the crowd, so it was harder. So he took the advantage of it and made his stuff more cinematic with what he was saying through the matches, leaned more on his acting ability, and made a lot of money and stuff. Made a lot of money for the company, which, yes, anybody could have made money for the company, but he was like one of the big draws to there. As annoyed as a lot of the internet wrestling community, myself included, were with how long the Roman reign lasted, there were plenty of people like who were unironically holding those ones in the air and that were really buying into this Roman Reigns thing. And so, yeah, I got to give credit where it was due. He's put on some great matches. I think he's
Yes.
underrated in the sense of his wrestling ability. But yeah, I got Roman.
I agree with you on that. He was the biggest star in wrestling, like like the last like year, 2 year, or whatever. He was like all of wrestling. He was the biggest star, and I will say too, piggyback off of what you're saying, to go from being get this guy the fuck out of here to go from everybody wants to see you, that is amazing. So yeah,
Let me say something. Only time I ever liked Roman was when he was in the Shield.
the time that I thought that he was overrated.
That's when I
Yeah.
was a fan.
The only time I ever liked him, so okay.
I told you he was my favorite Shield member. So
My favorite
I do really enjoy the high drama of the tribal chief Roman Reigns. I am bored with a lot of his TV time anyway, though.
Is it getting stale to you? Is that what it is?
Well, no, it's just that he's slow. He's just, and he uses it, and if you hear him talk about it, he'll talk about it as such this amazing positive. And it's because he's playing for the live crowd.
I think it works,
and that's a way to play it, I suppose. But for us watching on TV, it's fucking slow and boring. To just it's not the speed needs to pick up in his matches, his promos, whatever.
I got a hot take, okay, y'all. And y'all might get mad at me for saying this. I know one of y'all might. One of y'all might get mad at me for saying this. I think WWE itself is slow. They're a slow company. They take forever to get to the point. I looked at the clip of AJ's return.
Oh my God.
That return, they took forever to get to the point. Becky's talking on the mic. Your team suck. The Red Sox, White Sox, they suck. The Cubs suck. They suck. You suck. Blah 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 blah.
Now, if I say my rebuttal the way I want to say it,
and then
you gonna say that I'm,
Punk just talking about nothing. They just talking about nothing and nothing.
Oh
And then
God,
AJ finally comes and takes her turn. Takes forever. I was just like, yo, this is crazy. What? Get to the point.
Who is that? Oh.
And I think
I knew who it was.
At least there's that. I was like, who the fuck?
I laughed when I first saw it.
See, Bill, I thought you would have got that because you a little more old school than us. But that's like his.
To be fair,
that
was his failed WCW gimmick.
Like Triple H, man, Triple H. Come on. I mean, let's go back to fucking the Attitude Era, and let's talk about the fact that, and I've seen people talk about this in interviews and heard a little bit of speculation. I think it's not speculation. Triple H was like, yo, all these motherfucking people are amazing at what they do. We got The Rock, we got Stone Cold, we've got Kane, we've got Undertaker. We've got all these people who are top dogs and they're amazing faces. I'm going to go against the grain and I'm going to be the number one bad guy. I'm going to be the number one heel. I'm going to be the guy that everybody loves to hate. And what did Triple H do outside of Vince McMahon, who is the number one heel pretty much throughout the entirety of the Attitude Era when you really think about it? It is one Hunter Hearst Helmsley. It is Triple H. He held down, like I say, outside of Vince, he held down that other side of cheer these guys because you want to see them beat up Triple H. He had amazing feuds with Mick Foley, with The Rock, with Stone Cold, to name a few. And those are top three people. And then we keep it going. Ruthless Aggression Era, Evolution. He takes other people with him, and then he elevates two of these guys and brings back the name of Ric Flair on top of that. We keep it going, and now the man is running the fucking company, and there's something to be said for that shit. The name Triple H, as much as he is rated, he's still somewhat on the overall list in the grand scheme of names. He's still somewhat underrated for as much as the man has done for the company. Triple H is amazing.
Ibn Kurt Angle.
Oh almost spit my drink out.
Kurt Angle, man.
Great pick.
The first Olympic wrestler to come to professional wrestling and straight up kill it. Like, dude, he took to it like a fish to water, man. Like I wrestled for like a year in high school, my 10th grade year. I fucking sucked. But
Say all that.
the object of amateur wrestling is to not be on your back, because once you land on your back, that's it. In professional wrestling, you're gonna be on your back all the time. So
Right.
that had to be hard for him to do. So he took to this shit like a fish to fucking water, became one of the greatest of all time, and just killed it,
Yeah.
man. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he should have been on my list. I'm kind of mad I didn't put
Hey,
him.
right.
I just changed my list.
I-
I mean, I don't think this one is going to be my least popular, and I chose to keep him and bump him down to Foley's spot because Kurt Angle got this guy's spot, and then I bumped this guy down to Mick Foley's spot. But I think he's probably my most controversial pick.
Yeah,
And then three.
I would be erasing this one for Kurt, but I'll keep it.
And 3, 2, 1.
Y'all see that?
Jeff Hardy, Triple H, Trish Stratus, and I have Seth freaking Rollins.
No wonder you agree with me about Triple H. Let's go.
I had already written it down, and I'm like, I kind of have to stand by what I just said. I can't defend your opinion and then delete him to replace him with Kurt Angle. No, I can't do that when I clearly agree. I can't replace him with Kurt. But yeah, Triple H. Enough said.
Jazz, you want to start?
Trish Stratus. So speaking of spoiler alerts, I was thinking, and if I'm thinking of, all goats or whatever, she is the only female on my list right now that I could really truly think of. Because one thing I was thinking of too was impact and tenure. And when I think of Trish Stratus, when you think of, and I'm thinking of like not just the hardcores, but even the casuals. When you think of women's wrestling, especially within the last 30 or so years, the one name that comes to mind is Trish Stratus, and maybe the second is Lita. And if you think of what Trish Stratus did coming in as a fitness model, being just another pretty face, and then actually becoming one of the best women wrestlers of all time and having high-profile feuds with a lot of people, and the impact of transcending and becoming even a bigger name and elevating what women's wrestling means, especially at the time in the Attitude Era when they were kind of more so pretty faces to even now.
I'll go. So Seth Rollins, I said my most controversial pick, I think, because one, he's never really been the top guy in his company, and two, next to Bailey, he's going to be my youngest on the list. But when I came back to wrestling, he was the world heavyweight champion on Raw, and he was wrestling almost on a weekly basis, doing a lot of Raw world title defenses. I know he is a specific taste that watching a lot of like wrestling YouTube and stuff. I think he's kind of one of those you love him or you hate him kind of guys. But I really enjoy his promos. I really enjoy his matches. I often like his storylines that he's involved in. He very quickly became my favorite active wrestler when I started wrestling again, and then only to build up to WrestleMania 40, where many people, non-kayfabe, refer to him as the MVP of WrestleMania, just because of the job he did with the tag team match in night one, and then the job he did opening up night two against Drew McIntyre and losing his belt, and doing all that. I mean, honestly, he served he did two jobs at that WrestleMania for three different people, four different
He was
people if you count
reliable, man.
Cody. And
Yeah.
then what he did in the comeback, like, and then
Yeah, I'd say three.
joining into the scramble of the main
Yeah.
event of night two. So all of that just really just cemented, and also knowing in real time that he had a torn ACL that he was just bracing and shooting up with, pain tolerant probably, just to fucking get through WrestleMania season, elevated even that much farther to just be like, man, this dude is doing this to put on this entertaining show. I have loved Seth Rollins since I've gotten back. In my past studying and filling in my gaps, I've really enjoyed a lot of like the John Cena Seth Rollins match when he's in the white Power Ranger gear.
I don't know if I've seen
That is an incredible match that people don't talk about enough, in my opinion. So yeah, Seth Rollins.
I mean, if you talk about, he's had, while you were talking, I was thinking, and two wrestling, like historic wrestling moments come to mind that Seth Rollins was, the main component of.
I didn't even mention that. Yeah, Heist of the Century.
Heist of the Century, second best cash in, depending on if you want to say the best, because the best I still think is when Edge did it first, but either or. And then there's always a plan B. Whap, the Shield breakup. Like, come on. I mean, yeah, those are two incredible wrestling moments, and that's Seth Rollins. Somebody posted something where they were like, Seth Rollins, the last few returns Seth Rollins was a part of as far as ushering in Cody Rhodes returns. Who did they put him against? AJ Lee returns. Becky and who? It's like, the man is reliable.
CM Punk. They immediately basically declared forever feud.
Yeah,
like the second CM Punk got back. Yeah, they were like forever feud. These two men hate each other forever.
You can trust the man for a reason. So I feel you on that,
Bill. Who's next? Who's next?
I'll go next.
Jeff Hardy. I love this pick because here's what's interesting with Jeff Hardy. If I can just jump in real quick before you go, I knew Jeff Hardy purely as a tag team guy, and then when I came back into wrestling, I had to learn about he was almost bigger than Cena. Like he was about ready to take it from. He was about ready to be Cena before Cena got to be Cena, kind of thing, and he fucked it up.
Reasons why it didn't happen. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, no. So Jeff Hardy, man. So he is like one of the blueprints for that daredevil, high flying type of style everybody has nowadays. Your Will Ospreays, your Darby Allins, stuff like that. And like no care for your body, no care for like you live or die, and it's just fun to watch, man. I love that shit. So like he was one of my favorites growing up, and he's still one of my favorites now. And I just hope he continues to do what he does if he can.
Right, if he can. I mean, let's talk about the impact of Hardy Boys and Lita, or Team Extreme as they call it. Like the impact of just them three, period, with the fashion and all of that shit. And the whole alternative punk rock type of edge they had. Like all of that, if you just talk about impact in essence. And then Jeff Hardy keeping it going. So
yeah, Jeff Hardy was a consideration for me on the list as well. Like, love Jeff.
Not on my list, but I'm not upset with that pick though.
All right, Omari, did you already yes and your Triple H?
I was Triple H. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
There he is.
Yeah, I couldn't not. We got Kurt Angle, Ric Flair, Mick Foley, and Bryan Danielson.
How about the fact that Mick Foley and Ric Flair came on at the same position together?
Yeah, I'll just real quick. Ibn was about ready to say his piece on Kurt Angle, and then I was saying in my mind my little button that I was going to add when Ibn was done, and I was like, well, I can't. He needs to be on this list because what I was about ready to say is he could literally do anything. Anything in the business that they call professional wrestling, Kurt Angle is one of the best at.
Oh, yeah.
He is one of the best ever. At talking, at comedy, at drama, at a physical match, at a comedy match, at a jobber match, whatever you needed him to fucking do. You needed him to go out there and embarrass himself and show his ass in front of 20,000 people. He will walk out there and do it with a smile on his face.
You need him to go out there and embarrass his opponent.
Yeah, you need him to go out there and just murder somebody. Done.
You remember when he was Ruthless Aggression and he had the I think his mouthpiece used to say fucking like violence.
I've seen clips of TNA Kurt that has just all kinds of crazy different.
Yeah. So yes, yeah, no, and I mean you hear all of the legends when they talk about back in the day. Kurt started and they said that he took to the shit like Ibn said, like water. They said he took
like a fish to water.
Anybody,
like a fish to water.
Anybody. That's already amazing in and of itself. So, Kurt is a great pick.
Who's next?
I'll go. Yeah, Bryan Danielson.
I contemplated him. I did.
Just one of the greatest of all time, man. Like seriously, like just like you said, Bill. You ask him to do anything, he can fucking do it. Like the dude can do technical, he can do comedy, he can do squash, he can do jobber, he can do serious, he can do hardcore, he can do high flying. If you want him to do it, he can fucking do that shit. The dude is one of the greatest of all time. And I see Pete laughing because of Jazz. You laughing, right?
What?
Huh?
No,
I
actually.
wouldn't laugh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, Jazz did have that hot take, right?
Yeah.
Well, weren't you the one that had the
Daniel
Bryan Danielson?
He ain't never
Bryan
did
Danielson
shit.
is awesome, but Daniel Bryan ain't shit.
Daniel Bryan wasn't shit. Bryan Danielson has edge. Daniel Bryan, outside of a thing or two here and there, Daniel Bryan was boring as hell. Get him off my TV.
Bryan
Why did we
Danielson
make this
has
man a
coach.
star? We made Daniel Bryan a star simply because we knew that the powers that be didn't want him to be a star. That's the only reason. That's what it felt like.
I missed the majority.
Danielson is the man. Bryan Danielson has edge, and Bryan Danielson actually gets to be. They basically took a tiger and put him on a leash in WWE. AEW took him off the leash and said, "Be free."
Mm-hmm. I missed almost all of Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan's career. I got to catch the very tail end at AEW when I started watching AEW, and then I have to backlog watch. And obviously, easily, immediately could recognize his like he can do this well. It took me a long time to emotionally connect with Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, rewatching things. That did happen. And then and from then I was in, but I was also never watching live. It was all rewatches of stuff. Yeselmania to me and rewatching so disconnected. It's really hard to, it was not until I watched the video of Connor the Crusher, Connor's Cure, his induction to the Hall of Fame. It wasn't until I watched that till I was able to emotionally connect with the character and the person.
Okay.
And then I was able to create somewhat of a fandom. Before then, it was just like, yes, I acknowledge he does this well. It's like for the old heads out there, Mr. Perfect. Like you watch Mr. Perfect and you're like, well, Kurt Hennig. You're like, well, yes, he's doing nothing wrong, but it's like he's not Bret Hart, somehow.
I will say this as in defense of Yeselmania. As somebody who I'd say, as much as I did think that I don't care, it needed to happen. WrestleMania 30 needed to happen how it did. But I will say, in defense of it, even though I didn't care, for Yeselmania to mean anything to you, you had to be there to be following weekly to really feel if you felt that way. We don't want this like the people behind the curtain. We don't want this guy here and the fans to rally and being like, yes, we do.
And the fact that it started the year before.
Yes.
Which people keep forgetting. Like the 18 seconds
right
match to Sheamus.
Speaking of AJ Lee.
Yeah, speaking of AJ Lee. that 18-second match to Sheamus. Oh yeah, he lost it to Sheamus at 18 seconds because he spent.
Oh no,
15
my
of it
face was
making out with
the
AJ.
speaking of AJ Lee.
Yeah, because she
No, I was saying when
Oh,
were we speaking
okay.
of AJ Lee?
Earlier.
I know. But we've said
but
almost
no,
100
Daniel
names.
Bryan was a what you call it, honorable mention for me.
I said
Yeah, I
I
didn't
had a
have
few
him on my
people on my
list.
list,
Wait,
and he was
but I want to say something
down
else
the
though about him. I am very thankful I was able to see him and Will Ospreay in person last year at Dynasty. Man, that's the best match I've ever seen live in person, man. Oh my god. That was something else, man. Shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Richard Fleer, Ric Flair. Come on. I mean, what does arguably considered to some people the greatest of all time say his greatest of all time is? Stone Cold. Every time he brings up who he asks other people what's your greatest, he said, "Who's your greatest?" Ric Flair's my GOAT. I mean, if he's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, a lot of people will give credit to Ric Flair. When you talk about, okay, the San Martinos and what they did for wrestling, ushering it in after the territory. When you talk about your Hogans and what they did, ushering it into mainstream. On the other hand, is also Ric Flair and what he did, and also, like I said, with Triple H, as far as the heel persona, Ric Flair was one of and is a career heel, but he was one of the people ushering in the bad guy. They always said you need two to tango. And Ric Flair was right there. Okay, you want to love this guy? Ric Flair said, okay, well, boo me. And I'm going to give you a reason to boo me. Because I can take your woman. I got all this money, blah, 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 blah. And then depending on who you ask, people say he really lives that lifestyle behind the scenes. Now, that's, I don't know, but still. But real talk, you talk about somebody amazing, not just good, amazing on the fucking mic. You talk about somebody who's great in the ring. You talk about somebody who is a great face and an even better heel, and just the impact. I mean, even fucking Migos had a fucking song called Ric Flair Drip. That's how much the man's impact is. Come on now. No, Ric Flair has to be on the list.
Oh yeah, Ric Flair. He made a great argument. I had one of my controversial. I had my controversial pick for the top 10 here. Mick Foley. I had him on the list.
He would have been my number 7.
Contemplated him.
So not that controversial.
Yeah. I didn't want to get rid of him for Kurt Angle just because I forgot Kurt Angle. Like, not saying that's why you did it. I'm saying I didn't want to. Because realistically, though I respect the hell out of Kurt Angle and agree with every point you guys made, and he should have been on my list, I did grow up liking Mick Foley more.
I remember.
Which, again, asking about subjectivity versus objectivity for the list. Yeah, objectivity won out, and Mick Foley made my list. Mankind, that match that a lot of people talk about and a lot of people are annoyed with. Oh, it's not really that good. You just like it because it had spots in it. Okay, there's a few companies out there nowadays that are built on spots. Leave me alone. Let me have my match. Fucking Taker versus Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell. That's the one I'm talking about. But then there's other Hell in a Cell matches that he's had as well. You talked about Randy earlier. Numerous things have come out where Randy himself, as well as others, are like, oh, that match he had with Mick Foley is what made him. And and for a lot of people, that was back in the day. Yeah, there was the whole, Triple H is your heel to your favorite faces, but Mick Foley was the litmus test of whether or not you could really hang and be in this business from top to bottom. You want to prove you're something? Here's a match with Foley. And he took the whole he was that guy that sold the dream to the people who would be in bed for the rest of their lives, realistically. You don't have to be ripped and big and da to be the wrestler. You could be, if you got the heart and you willing to go and fight your ass off, you can do it. And that's the dream Mick Foley sold and convinced a lot of people out there to watch and root for him. He had the Mankind, Cactus Jack, worked his other characters into his kayfabe. You know, you don't see Kane just randomly talk about dentistry out of nowhere.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? This is, or you don't see Triple H talking about like how much terror is gonna rise this Halloween.
Or if
No,
he
you
still
got
rides horses
fucking
and is a Connecticut
yeah,
blue blood and shit.
yeah. So it's he made it work. He's one of the he's one of the many wrestlers out there that took his career and made every little change work for the bigger picture. And yeah, I just really like me some Mick Foley. He has tons of classic matches where he didn't even need to be the winner for it to be the classic match and still be memorable as a Mick Foley moment. The Edge, speaking of him, the
Dude,
fucking hardcore match at WrestleMania, that fucking table spot and everything
dude,
else in that match. Y'all mentioned Lita earlier. She was also involved
dude.
in that. Foley.
Me and Ibn saw that not live in person, but we saw that live with some friends of ours at the time. And
What match
yeah,
was that?
Edge versus Mick Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
WrestleMania 22.
two. I want to say
Something
22.
along those lines.
And
22.
what's the name? Edge, Edge talking about how he was like when they were doing the flaming spot, and Mick coming at him, and he talked about how he stood on the apron, and he said as he was coming, he had a split second thought of Mick's coming at me wearing a shirt, and he's like, I'm blocking him. Meanwhile, I'm shirtless going into this with no cushion. What am I doing?
Yeah, no, like layer. Foley had layers on. He's
Right.
just shirtless, and you could see the pain in Edge's face as he went for that pin. As he did the little crawl with
Yeah.
his hands over there, just like
Edge sold the fuck out of it.
I'm
I will say,
burning.
going off what you said though, speaking about Mick Foley, Pete, though, like again, yeah, the Mankind versus Taker, that's probably the most famous wrestling match, period, for anybody. So you got to give credit for that. So I agree with you about that. It might be the spot about him getting thrown off for anybody who knows anything about wrestling. That might be the thing that they know if they know anything about it. But then on top of that, yeah, ushering in. Not only did people say that's the first time that Randy got really taken seriously and ushered him to the top, but I've heard Triple H say and some other people say too that the Cactus Jack match is what made a lot of people like. You already took Triple H serious, but it gave him another level.
Oh yeah, like I said, he
Oh
was a
shit,
litmus
it's
test
Triple
for
H.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I agree with you on that, man. No, and I mean, yeah, Mick Foley, he's undeniable. I'm not mad he's on your list. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Wait, no, we already did.
No, we already covered them. We're on to number 5. Number 5 on your list.
Tripping.
Number 5 on your list. We all ready?
Hold on.
2, 1. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, and Sting.
I'll go first. I don't think I've gone first yet, or if I have, maybe once. When you think of reinvention in wrestling, what's the first name that comes to mind and staying relevant? There may be a few names you think of, but what's one name that you
Jericho's
think of?
definitely in there.
No, I was gonna say there might be a few names that you think of when you think of wrestling for 1,000,001 companies. But when you think of somebody who's been the top dog at every company that they've touched, Chris Jericho's name comes to mind. When you think of somebody who's had tenure in the business for decades and decades and decades and been number one or one of the top guys for all the decades and stayed relevant, Jericho's name comes to mind. Jericho has solidified his name, brought other people up with the Jericho Society, with helping Kevin Owens with the list of Kevin Owens, just to start. But I mean, if we sit and we talk about Ayatollah of Rock and Roll at Jericho, if we talk about a light up jacket Jericho with the code breaker, if we talk about heel Jericho using the big words and the suit, if we talk about I'm a wizard Jericho, if we talk about the Ocho, like I say, the man has been around for so long. He's reinvented himself. He's wrestled in ECW, WCW, AEW, WWE, New Japan, and like I say, been top on all of them. I had to put him on the list. Had to.
Yeah, he was one of those people I had in my mind when I said very few people take everything in their career and kind of work it into the whole. And he's definitely one of the reinventors.
Yep. I mean, Jericho gets a lot of hate, and I don't think it's ever coming from this channel.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I feel like we're always a pretty pro Jericho channel,
He doesn't bother me.
but you have to acknowledge that for some reason in the last 5 years, I mean, there is my wife is very, very vocally Republican and very, very vocally loving Trump. And Trump is one of the most divisive people in the world right now. So it's kind of coincidental that the strong Jericho hate has kind of rode around the same timeline as the
That
Trump
explains a
verse.
lot.
But I don't even think that's really it. There's something about, I mean, like I've heard people talk about how he was always really good at knowing when to take a break in his WWE run. He would pop away and then come back reinvented and whatnot. And he's still attempting reinventions in AEW, but it's minus the stepping away portion.
Yeah.
So I've heard
That's a
people
lot of
theorize
people.
if that's what's
Yeah.
going on. If we just need a Jericho break.
That's what I hear a lot of people saying that they're getting tired of seeing him so much.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
bother me. He doesn't bother me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
I thought the fucking TV time shit was hilarious.
Yes.
Like the Mr. Rogers parodying
Yes.
of it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. For like a mid-card single TV segment on the show, perfect.
Yeah.
No issues. But
Hi,
it
guys.
was getting so much fucking hate.
the high guys, yeah.
From WWE people obviously hating AEW stuff, and also AEW people who I was watching live on the internet being like, why is this taking up my time on Dynamite? And I'm just like, because it's fucking hilarious.
And then real quick too, you talk about somebody amazing in the mic, amazing face, amazing heel, amazing in the ring.
Me? I had it's empty. I already erased it. I had Sting. I really enjoyed blonde super babyface Sting. But I wasn't a huge WCW head yet. It wasn't until The Outsiders and Hollywood Hogan that I really started putting eyes on WCW, and then Crow Sting was my dude. He was the guy
Undeniable.
for me for at least a year there. Like I got the mask. I like for the longest time when I created characters in wrestling video games, they did the Scorpion Death Drop as a finishing move. I am like 97% sure I have Scorpion Death Dropped Omari Ellis.
In real life.
In real life, on my bed. Just a boom.
Likely.
Yeah. I am a big Sting head, and then you had Wolfpack NWO, one of the greatest wrestling theme songs of all time, on top of reinventing Crow Sting into like a mixture of his super babyface Sting and Crow Sting. I did not follow him much into his TNA tenure. I was out totally in his WWE return, and then only caught the very back end of his retirement run. But in the 90s, you would have struggled to find a bigger Sting head than this guy right here.
AEW treated him better than WWE did. I would say that.
Yes, they did. They did. Yes.
Oh, no.
Well, he went undefeated, so I mean, I think that's kind of undeniable.
Yeah, and then also the fact that it's like, come on, and again, I had the guy who he faced on my list, but it's the man's first WrestleMania. You make such a big deal, you even bring back DX and NWO, and then he loses.
I think we know who made
That was
decision.
that was Vince being petty. Jeff. That was
Right,
Vince
but
we
like-
know who made that decision.
Again, I wasn't watching live, but just to see it back, I can't fault a guy being petty in that scenario. I can't fault a guy saying, I won, so my toys are going to beat their toys because I won. Like
I get what you're saying.
I'm not gonna be like, that was wrong of Vince McMahon. Like I can see it. I'm just saying I can see it.
Yeah,
but
This is from the guy who just had him on his list.
No, I'm saying I get what you're saying, Bill, because I feel certain ways about certain tactics that Mr. McMahon, Vince does that people are like, that's terrible, and I'm like, well, I mean, but in this case, let the man win the first one and then lose the rest. But let him win.
No, what they should have done is had him. I'm fine with him losing the first one and then winning after that. Bottom line is, like, if he wants to do, but he didn't stay in WWE long enough for them to do anything with it. You know what I mean? Like, had the character recover. Yeah, thanks to somebody. I don't remember.
Rollins gave him a buckle bomb.
Yeah,
and
that's what it was.
He messed his neck up or something like that.
A rogue buckle bomb.
And at the same time, Undertaker kept he was battling a lot of injuries because that was the whole thing. They signed Sting because eventually they were going to do Sting Taker, and it was like the two they could never be healthy at the same time. Is the story that I've heard?
Because it was the two supernatural icons that represented both companies.
Everybody wanted that to happen. But yeah, who did you pick, Evan, for this round?
Kenny Omega.
Yes,
Kenny Jerome Omega.
Name ain't no Jerome.
No, he is one of the greatest of all time, man. I remember first hearing about him back in like the last decade. People talking about him online, like this guy Kenny Omega. He's supposed to be like one of the greatest of all time, and I'm like, yo, man, let me check this dude out. So they were talking about him and Okada. And it was like an hour-long match, and I saw that shit. I'm like, "Yo, this is insane!" Like, you weren't seeing what they were doing in WWE around that time. It was like 2018.
Yeah,
you were not seeing what they were doing in WWE around that time. I'm like, "Yo, that blew my fucking mind." Like, so Kenny Omega is one of the greatest of all time, and I just had to put him at number 5.
Yeah, I had him on my list as well, obviously. So I agree. At number 5, I have someone who is probably lower than he is if he's on. So I know he's lower than he is on Bill's lists, but probably lower if he's on the other two of yours list. I had Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid,
great pick,
Mr. WrestleMania. What'd you say?
Higginbottom.
Mr. Higginbottom. I almost wanted to write Higginbottom on there, but I'm like, nah. Shawn Michaels,
what was your
HBK.
5?
What did I say? Jericho.
Jericho. Right. Okay. Sorry, Omar. Keep going.
Nah,
what was yours, Bill?
I had
Sting.
Yeah. HBK. Enough said. Like, you want to talk about people needing to, like, you can wrestle a broom, you can wrestle whatever you want. It's HBK. And yeah, if I don't, I have my reasons for why I picked 4 the way I did. Top 3, I think you got, if you know me, are kind of obvious. But yeah, it's Shawn Michaels. I don't really have to. I shouldn't have to explain why I picked Shawn Michaels.
No, I think he'll get mentioned again.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels.
But I mean, there's no arguments with that pick. I mean,
yeah,
All right, so we are on to number 4.
Yep.
I went with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Jazz has John Cena. Omari's is blank.
You can't see it?
Oh, God.
Oh,
And Evans is Will Ospreay.
Just for that,
Evan, go ahead and start the argument of why the why the young, spry Will Ospreay is one of the greatest of all time. Has he ever won a heavyweight championship?
Okay, hold on. You said the same with Piper and Ned.
You gotta stop.
Oh,
You gotta
wait a
stop.
minute.
Well, they're
Well,
not as
I'm
young
just saying,
as
like,
Osprey
you know,
either.
I'm just, I get Ibn loves him. I want the defense.
And Bill,
Like, yes, Scott Hall does not have a championship, but Scott Hall also has almost 20 years of
And
TV
Bill,
wrestling
Bill,
time,
anybody could
of
have
North
not won a
American TV
championship.
wrestling time.
Anybody could have not won a champion.
Hey, he's a legend to somebody.
Go ahead.
He's a legend to somebody.
Yeah, there you go. Bringing all the arguments.
And that somebody is you. So why is that?
No, for real though. He is. I think he's the best wrestler in the world right now. Oh shit! God damn it! Touchdown. Okay.
You've been watching the game the whole time we've been doing this.
Yeah.
If y'all couldn't tell, I could tell.
Yeah.
I know my.
No. No. Will Ospreay is the best in the world right now. Nobody's doing it like him. Like nobody's doing it like him. He's killing it. Like he's just doing shit that you will not see anybody else do right now at this moment in time. Like for real. Like I just cannot explain what the man does, but when you see it, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
And this is not to be like straight up debate. This is just a little bit of devil's advocate. And seriously, out of curiosity, to see what you will say for this. So all of the how does him being the best wrestler right now and being that good equate to him being greatest of all time?
For his era, he is the greatest.
Okay.
Of his era.
Okay. Like I said, it's not pushback. I genuinely was curious what you would say. So.
He's the greatest.
As time goes on,
Ibn saying he is so good that he is already one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I can understand making that argument.
That's fair.
I let into it in a negative because I'm the heel of the show, but I can understand the argument being made.
Greatest of now is a time, and thus one of the greatest of all times.
Okay. I think before we talk about the fact that we landed the same person at the same position.
Yeah, first time that's happened so far.
By the way, that's who I was talking about. By the way, when I was like, maybe Jazz will pick this person.
You thought I was going to
pick the others. Well, I didn't think the other two would in their top four.
But before we go that far, I want to hear why a certain someone is number 4 on the list.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is number 4 on this list because he's one of the greatest of all time. He has won multiple heavyweight championships. He was the guy in the company for several years. Yeah. He has claims to being one of the biggest draws, one of the biggest merch sellers of all time. And so that's why he's number 4.
I'm just surprised that he's not 2 or 1. But your list.
I mean, I guess. So why he's number 4 and not 3, 2, 1 would be tenure of peak, matches, good, not great in most cases. Okay, and good. Like there is the Bret Hart match. There are the 2 Bret Hart matches that are great, and then Stone Cold has good matches. No, he doesn't have great matches often.
No, you.
And I'm probably one of the few who was actually watching.
I mean, we weren't too, but what?
I mean.
I caught him near the end of his aforementioned short.
Like
peak,
the Stone Cold Steve Austin peak. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys were watching or not, because the Stone Cold Steve Austin peak wasn't even matches. Like he would have a promo to open Raw, and then he would come out at some point and hit 3 people with chairs and do some stunners, or he would have his bit with Vince McMahon, and that were all great things. And I loved Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I owned an Austin 316 T-shirt, which is why he's number 4 on my list. But like
I said, your list. I'm just
He's not having even the fraction of what Will Ospreay is having in a match. He's not even having a fraction of what the average Bret Hart match is. Like Stone Cold is having great matches with Bret Hart because he's having a match with Bret Hart. Otherwise, Stone Cold's peak was in Crash Television, where matches averaged 7 minutes.
I
Like
have a feeling that
you know,
may
they were
have,
fine.
I have a feeling that you may have spoiled who a certain somebody on your list may be, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I mean,
I mean,
anybody
come on
who's
now.
ever watched one episode of a wrestling content on the show should know who my 1 and 2 are. It's pretty easy, not to spoil, but yeah, that's why he's. I mean, you guys could disagree, but
Oh.
like I think
Well,
you're. I would say
I'm
you're
not the one
rose-colored
that
glassing
I
a
didn't
little
bring.
bit.
I'm not the one that
So
brought
what?
up the argument to be like, "How dare you put him at 4?" That's not me.
No,
just
I'm
like,
I'm
okay,
talking.
it is
I'm
whatever.
talking to these two who
Yeah.
were whose faces immediately changed when I said Stone Cold has good to okay matches.
Oh well.
I think you're looking back with a little bit of rose-colored glasses, a little bit. Like
feel like-
they're fine matches, but in today's match standard, they
You can say
are
that with anybody.
they are
You say that
just
with damn near
fine.
anybody in the Attitude Era.
Well,
You
I
have-
know, but like no, you can't because
Damn
Bret
near.
Hart and Shawn
Damn.
Michaels are having matches
Damn near.
that could be on a
damn near.
pay-per-view today for either company, and it
I
would be
said damn.
and it would not stand out at all.
I
X-Pac
wouldn't
was
consider
looked at
Bret
as a
Hart.
workhorse around that time. And
I wouldn't
X-Pac
consider-
actually wouldn't hold a candle to some people now.
I wouldn't consider Bret Hart part of the Attitude Era. He came like right before it started. He left right before it started.
That's honestly a great point
You know,
because the Montreal Screwjob was supposed to be what ushered it in, and Bret stopped shortly after that.
Sure, but Crash TV was still going on.
Yeah.
at
But
that
Crash
point.
was still going on.
And so like I'm just like I mean I'm not saying anything crazy. Like Stone
You're not
Cold's
saying
peak
anything
Stone
crazy.
Cold's peak happened after he broke his neck. He was physically limited a gigantic amount. It
Well-
was Luthez press, punch, throw him in the corner, stomp.
True.
Like maybe if you were lucky, he would go up to the top rope and do a double axe handle. Like
No,
that's
Yeah.
the second rope.
well, that was average. I'm saying like on a special match, he would
On a
like
special occasion.
he would maybe go up to the top rope and do a standing double axe handle. Let's see. All right, so the
who's gonna go first about how good John Cena is?
So we want to talk about good, not great in the ring when it comes to wrestling. We got Cena, but I feel like Cena is the better version of what people argue about Mr. Hollywood that's not on anybody's list tonight. It's yes, you take the quote unquote limited athletic ability. I say quote unquote because I mean look at the guy. Clearly there's some kind of athleticism there. But you take that and just capitalizing on what you have, pure character and crowd connection. And then once that person in the back says, well, anybody could run this company for the next 14 years. I choose you. To actually take that, run with it to the level he did, to even to the point to where he started living it in real life as well with the whole fucking Make-A-Wish shit and all of that.
And holds the record for that shit too.
Yeah, I have the only reason I have him over Sean is kind of like what Bill was talking about when he said like short peaks and stuff. Cena had a long ass peak, and out of respect, I had to put him at like 4, because of what he did, quote unquote, for the business. Even though he did nothing for the business that no one else could do, I think him the amount of merch and stuff that he sold with his name on it, that the people, because at the end of the day, the people can say that you're handpicked to be the guy that I want, as everybody liking this guy, and you can be fired within 6 years. Cena was handpicked and ran it for 14. Yeah, and
I love that and agree. And can I just say real quick before this keeps going as too much of a reoccurring joke? I'm okay with it being a bullet point in the discussion. It was literally the only thing Jazz had to say about Bruno Sammartino. It was literally the only thing he had to say.
Well, you brought up he who should not be mentioned as well, and I was like,
Well, I'm just saying,
that guy.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it being a bullet point if you're talking about Roman Reigns' career, and then you also
but
say,
you also,
and then he
you
had
also,
a 1,000-day reign.
but I
Like
also,
it was the only thing that Jazz mentioned about
but I
Bruno
also add those
Sammartino.
caveats that you mentioned because they're valid caveats. You know, you're right. Anybody could. Like anybody who is the top of the company is only the top of the company because the person in charge of the company told them they could be. Like that was not an unfactual statement. So I'm like, yes, I have to be objective when I explain that this is what I'm saying. Yes, and that I understand it, but yeah, whatever.
To
Bottom line
piggyback
is,
off,
I pick Cena.
to piggyback off of what you said, the limited athletic ability thing that was the knock that he got for so long, and not so much anymore, but still from time to time, I always thought was a little unfair. I don't think his matches were 5 moves of doom and that's it. No, I do think that Cena was not putting on like, you know, Kenny Omega style, Bret Hart style, Bryan Danielson style, masterpieces like that, but he was bell to bell giving better shit than people were giving him credit for. But John Cena, there's something to be said for the fact that you talk about a star who, like you say, was on top for as long as he was and did not leave. The man went, shot movies, came back, and was still there. You talk about somebody who was great in the ring, great on the mic. You talk about somebody that we, as a heel, we didn't like him, but then we did like him. So you talk about somebody who we liked you, we hated you, then you got us to like you again and earn our respect. And through all of that, you were supposed to not even be part of the company, and now you're the biggest name and to most recently come out of wrestling, period, probably on a transcending level. No, John Cena, he earned my respect. And the one thing I always said was, when you look back in the day when everybody was like, get this dude the fuck out of here, the one thing that you could never deny was Cena's talent. You could never deny that he was good on the mic, and he would earn your respect. And he even plays into, y'all think I got 5 moves of doom, y'all think this, y'all think that. So he knows how to work a crowd.
He actually has something in common with Roman Reigns for me, where I liked him initially, and then originally was told like, no, you shouldn't like this guy, and so I didn't. Although I didn't come back around on Cena as fast as I did with Roman. Anyway,
but I mean, no, Cena now, clearly this whole year he's doing his retirement tour, his victory lap, and he's riding off into the sunset, and it's well fucking deserved.
Yeah, Ibn had something to say.
Oh, I don't remember now.
Okay, sorry. I tried to say anyway, but it didn't. Point. Anyway, ADHD. So there we go. Number 3.
Number 3.
Well, yeah, so just kind of stopped you.
Oh, okay.
The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Macho Man Randy Savage. Speaking of guys who never got told that they were the guy that they like in this business, you have to be told by usually one dude who signs your paychecks that you're allowed to be the guy. And this guy was never given that opportunity. Speaking of, maybe in an alternate world, it can be anybody that has that spot.
Yeah. That's the first name
I think this guy could have had that spot. And the what if scenario, I don't know how much you can tell me the world would be that different. Because yes, he was not the super babyface Hulkamaniac in that moment, but he showed that he could do it in the late 80s and the early 90s in the super babyface role. All the kids loving Macho Man Randy Savage, wanting to be Macho Man Randy Savage, snap into a slip gym. Like he was able to do that, but he didn't get the ball to do that. He had to be the crazy man to Hulk's eat your vitamins guy. So you know, I have always loved Macho Man Randy Savage. He is one of the largest icons of wrestling. Just the image of Randy Savage, the ooh yeah. When you're doing a wrestling impression, it's Macho Man.
Yeah, no,
On top of having way better matches than the era that he was in.
Yes.
I'm not gonna make the argument that a Macho Man match can be in today, like I would for a Michaels or a Brett or maybe somebody else. But his matches could have definitely been much longer on in his timeline.
He was way ahead of his time for real, man.
So yeah. Number 3 GOAT for me.
And he cut promos like nobody else.
Oh
he had
my
his
god!
Style of doing promos, like kind of like what you were saying about doing the impression. He had his style of doing promos, and that shit was undeniable. Talking like that, yeah, I mean, left off the screen easily.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I'll go just because I'll keep it short because we already spent a long time talking about him. I picked Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mr. Attitude Era, he was on top when I first started watching wrestling, along with somebody else on my list. One of his matches that I thought was great when I was younger, but maybe that's just because of the storytelling around it as opposed to the wrestling itself. WrestleMania X7.
Come on.
You know, that moment, even though people regret what happened in the long run because it turned out not to work, in the moment itself, it was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, the shock factor worked and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. We've been a long video. We did already explain for a long bit on why. I'm going to go ahead and just say, number 3 for me. Because I like the other 2 that I have more than Stone Cold. Despite, also, he transcended wrestling. Like, he was one of those first breakthrough into the mainstream. Like, Simpsons and other shit is talking about Stone Cold and stuff like that. Like, first it was, Mr. Hollywood, hence him getting the name. But then, Stone Cold was the 90s.
Yeah. And I would say Stone Cold transcended without any really prominent movies to help him transcend. He just did it all off of
specifically as the wrestling persona.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I think in the modern like age of wrestling, of TV wrestling, of Hulkamania forward, you can there are really only 4 guys: Hogan, Austin, Rock, and Cena.
Yeah.
Who made it to a certain level, and nobody else is really even close to there.
And 3 of those guys,
as just like star level.
And 3 of those guys have prominent movies that help them to usher over.
Yeah, Stone Cold is really the only one who never really. I mean, he dabbled, but
none of his movies
got on this channel.
What'd you think?
Said we covered one of his movies on this channel.
Oh snap! So I mean, me and Bill keep going at it. So just for that, Bill, I'm going to put you in a one-on-one match with The Undertaker.
hey, but look, Jazz, let me go because I had Stone Cold as well. I just wanted to say.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I had Stone Cold too. So, just what Pete said, man, Stone Cold is one of the greatest of all time. He's Mr. Attitude Era himself. So,
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Oh, you don't have any? Okay. Yeah, I mean, short and sweet, but I mean, yeah, true. Between Bill before and Pete then, yeah. The Undertaker. I mean, if you talk about somebody else who has done some reinvention, not to that biggest level of Chris Jericho, you could talk about Undertaker doing so. But if you also talk about somebody who kept their fucking character for as long as they did, and the gimmick really never got stale. And you talk about someone who we don't really know the truth behind the scenes, but a lot of wrestlers say was the locker room leader. If you talk about somebody who they say was always reliable, somebody whose tenure was 30 years and counting. And again, when I say you last that long and you're forever on top, if you talk about somebody who everybody, then you say, okay, name a prominent Bruno Sammartino match. I can't do it. Name a prominent Undertaker match. We can sit here for a while and just start popping them off. Like, I mean, Undertaker is, and people talking about Mark Calloway now, oh man, he's breaking the cave. Undertaker deserves the victory lap of his career now to go back and tell these stories, to have his podcast, to have these interviews, because he also was one of the wrestlers for the longest that while he was doing his thing, didn't break kayfabe ever. And there's something to be said about that shit. So no, Undertaker solidified his spot, earned it, and very much deserves to be considered one of the top of all time, easily.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree with you. Can I say something controversial?
Oh no.
That I've never heard anybody say, and I've just been thinking about. We always talk about Undertaker, or we always hear about Undertaker being the locker room leader, but yet we also constantly hear about some of the worst locker room stories of all time going on during Undertaker's locker room leader tenure. Like, was he a good locker room leader?
I'll put it like this. And we all say this through speculation and allegedly because none of us were there and we don't know, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. But I will say this. Was he a good locker room leader? From what it sounds like, for the time. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, for
what?
It's it's always a bullet point. It's always a bullet point for him. But then I'm always like, is that a good thing? Because we're just constantly hearing about horrible, awful shit from the 90s.
I mean, yeah.
Out of that locker room. Like,
I haven't heard anybody.
If that motherfucker was there co-signing all of the Vince BS to the boys, because he is the right-hand man of that dude. Like,
I didn't know Taker had allegations against him.
He's not saying allegations against.
No,
he's
the
locker room in and
they are vocally each other's best friends, damn near.
Gotcha.
Right. And the locker room in and of itself was a mess compared to a lot of stories we hear. So the guy who was supposed to be the number one leader of said mess, that's what he's like.
Yeah.
Like, Undertaker gets a whole lot of credit from The Miz for being the guy that let him back into the locker room. But that means he's also the guy who let him not be in the locker room for like 9 months and let Chris Benoit be a giant piece of shit to The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, can we reward that? I don't know. I knew it was a hot take.
I don't fully disagree with that.
I like The Undertaker, but I get your point.
I mean, I like The Undertaker.
Yeah. I don't, like I say, it's all allegedly, none of us were there.
Right.
I do see what you mean, though. But like I say, for the time. But yeah, no, I mean.
Especially when you hear things right now about I don't know who would have that credit on the AEW side. I'm not sure if you would know that, Ibn. Other than like a Brian, I heard Brian Danielson being thrown around a lot before the retirement. But you hear on the women's side of things, or on the WWE side of things, it's kind of Seth Rollins is the locker room leader out there as far as just the talent goes, as because Cody's too new. He's the guy, but he just came back, kind of thing. He hasn't been there forever. Roman is never there, so I always hear it attributed to Seth. And you also hear about it being a much greater locker room than it ever used to be. So then I'm like, so all of these stories come out, and then you're constantly hearing Undertaker being referred to as the locker room leader, and then you're constantly hearing stories about how the locker room is so much better now, and then you're like, well, okay, well, what if you take these two stories that you hear all the time in different places and put them together? Doesn't that mean that Undertaker's locker room was shit?
That's why I said for the time. Because if you hear some of the guys from that era, for better or worse, it's somewhat of a generational thing. And they will say that they preferred the locker room at that time compared to some of what happens in the locker room now. We don't know, but I've heard some of that too.
All right, are we ready to go to number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Number 2, reveal in 3, 2, 1. Rocky Johnson's son, Goldberg, and Bret Hart.
I wasn't expecting to see Goldberg. That's a nice pick.
Yeah.
Goldberg. Ibn?
So yeah, I'll say Goldberg. He was my original favorite wrestler growing up. When I first started watching wrestling, first wrestling show I ever saw was WrestleMania 14. Never watched anything after that WWF wise, but my friends at school, I was in third grade at the time. My friends at school were talking. No, yeah, I was in third grade. Yeah, my friends at school were talking about WCW. So I'm like, okay, let me check WCW out. I see this dude Goldberg coming around, just coming in, just spearing motherfuckers, and just coming in, just wrecking house. I'm like, yeah. This dude, that's my boy right there. Let's go.
Time, man. It was a
Let's
time.
go. So from then on, he was my favorite until till Scott Hall tased him with the little taser, and he lost the belt to Kevin Nash, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Finger
yeah.
poke.
Yeah.
I was the first time that I can recall that like I startled my house. Like my dad came and checked on me. The WCW Nitro where Goldberg puts Hogan up in the jackhammer and pins him clean 1, 2, 3. I was flipping my shit out. I was exploding. My father was concerned. I was so fucking jacked. That match had me so jacked. And that's in the Georgia Dome. Back in like the WCW, they basically encourage their fans to throw shit.
Throw shit in the ring, yep.
Oh my God, it is such an intense environment. You had the NWO run-ins. Goldberg is stopping every single one of them, and he's still like that's another one where like Hogan gets a lot of flack for all of the jobs that he didn't do. But you watch that Nitro, you could not have a cleaner victory than that fucking Nitro. Goldberg takes out every single distraction and then pins Hogan 100% clean. And man, I flipped my shit out.
Yeah, don't let the internet fool you. Goldberg was the shit back in the day. It was one of those things where you had to be there to fool.
You really did.
What it was.
Who's next, man? Who's next?
There you go. Who's next?
I missed that whole era, but I would have been just as a fan.
I will go next. Bret Hart. What else can what all can I say about Bret Hart? I don't know. Like there is the most. I've argued for Brock Lesnar being the most believable professional wrestler of all time, just because of his size, his speed, and then leaving and doing real fighting and but inside of a match, the person who can make me believe the most is Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly is magic what he used to be able to do. He could, like, the old heads have the phrase of you could wrestle a broom. Bret Hart could wrestle a broom and you would be entertained. And you would think that broom might pin Bret Hart. Like
and he would play his part because Stone Cold said in the Austin match with him, WrestleMania 13, he was like, and it looks right here, everybody, that Bret, is winded because he's like breathing with his mouth, whatever. He said, That is all kayfabe. Brett is he basically like Brett is not tired right now.
No.
Yeah, he was amazing, man.
Yeah. Bret Hart is amazing. Your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler kind of deal. Honestly, not imitated enough. I've had this rant with Omari before with the amount of wrestlers who are like, my favorite wrestler is Bret Hart. And I'm like, well, then fucking wrestle like Bret Hart. Why aren't you throwing a punch? Why do you keep chopping? Bret Hart fucking hates chops. Stop saying that your favorite wrestler is Bret Hart and then chopping a motherfucker.
Shawn Michaels, everybody doing super kicks.
Like my next guy on this list is probably the most imitated wrestler of all time. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because it literally is a magic trick that Bret Hart used to do, and just nobody else can do it. But nobody feels like they're trying to be Bret Hart, and I don't know why. Maybe that's just me.
I mean, when you think of the top technical wrestlers, the three names that always get thrown out: Bret Hart, certain somebody during the Ruthless Aggression era, Chris Benoit, and Bryan Danielson.
Now, if you know about it, Zack Sabre Jr.
Well, I'm talking about names that get thrown out by everybody on a continuous basis.
Okay.
And those are the three. Who was getting thrown out before Bret? Bret wrote the blueprint on technical wrestling prowess. That's the point I'm making with that.
Yeah. I agree.
Omari, who was yours?
The Rock.
Right. You and Jazz match again
on the same time again.
I'm actually surprised. I don't know who Jazz has for number one. Then, maybe. At this point, I can't say. You know what? Maybe, but no. I picked The Rock. Rock is the reason I started. Much like Ibn with Goldberg, The Rock is. Like, yes, Stone Cold was the guy when I first started watching wrestling, but I was told, hey, there's this dude, The Rock. He's awesome and he's hilarious. And, well, yes, whatever my first introduction to him was right up that alley. I loved The Rock to start with. I was a big Rock fan. These two know it. You know, we had our group, the freaking Brahma Bulls, which is how much we were into The Rock when it came to like created wrestlers and stuff in games and stuff like that. Yeah. And then he transcends, goes to Hollywood, does all the Cena stuff and stuff. He's more of a movie star now than he is a wrestler. Like, there's a lot of people out there that'll say that. Love it or hate it. I happen to love it. Maybe rose tinted glasses or whatever. I liked his final boss run and stuff last year.
Final boss run was
yeah, it's the fucking Rock. I don't need to keep going. I like
Peter Maravilla's grandson, Rocky Johnson's son, the fucking Rock. Not to go super long-winded after what Pete said, but yeah, I mean, when you talk about somebody who he transcended and in a short amount of time went from being an afterthought to being undeniable and a legend. And then when you really think about it, The Rock was not on top as long as he was because he did go to Hollywood.
Yeah. So he also had a short peak, like Stone
which is
Cold.
crazy that he is so undeniable and so huge from such a short tenure, which I think is even more to be commended because you could be commended for so long and you could also be commended for making a huge impact in so short. And then he came back as Hollywood Rock, and everybody was like, well, he's the ultimate babyface. He's not going to be heel. Man came back as Hollywood Rock in the mid-2000s, and Hollywood Rock was a dope-ass heel. So, yeah. No,
Rock, if you're Hollywood, you're probably a heel.
Right. Yes. But not everybody can play a heel as good, too. But
I'm just saying, when you put the name Hollywood on there.
Very true. But, yeah, man, like I say, The Rock is undeniable, and the final boss was great. Little bit of a misfire this year with that shit, but it was great last year against the Cody Rhodes and Mama Rhodes and all that shit. So yeah, man. It's like, you know, and they said several times during the Attitude Era, there was 1A. It's like they always said there was 1, 2, 3, 4 as far as the pecking order in companies. There was 1A and 1B. There were two people in the Attitude Era who were on top, and The Rock did it in a short amount of time. That's amazing. So.
Absolutely.
All right. So that brings us to number 1.
We got our number ones.
Yep.
Who'd you have for number 2, Bill?
Huh?
Who'd you have for number 2?
Bret Hart.
The Hitman.
Okay, yeah.
I got a feeling I know who Bill's 1 is.
I
You
wonder.
You should.
3, 2, 1. We have Taker. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin. We have The Rock, and we have Shawn Michaels.
Oh, you hadn't said Stone Cold yet. Fair enough. You're right. It was obvious. You're right, Jazz. You hadn't said Stone Cold.
All right.
Yet.
So since it's number 1 on my list and didn't appear anywhere on anybody else's,
Oh, Shawn?
I will go
He
ahead.
He was on your high school buddies.
Oh yeah, that's right. Omari had him. Omari did have him. Okay. I was like, well, I'll just get him out of the way here.
You can still go. I didn't. I also didn't go that deep into bloviation.
So I mean, lots of things I could say about Shawn Michaels. Before his time, match quality wise, of course. The wrestler I have always emotionally resonated with most, emotionally connected with most, even in his heel work. I get to be a guy who says that Shawn Michaels was my favorite wrestler before he came back Jesus-fied, which is inarguably his greatest in-ring run of his career after he returned. But even before then, even before D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels was my favorite wrestler. There was something about him that from the very first time I saw him on a random Survivor Series come out as the heel Intercontinental Champion, full on permed mullet and white and red, with the chains and sexy boy and all of that. There was no reason why he should have been my favorite wrestler. Zero. And he was.
And he
only continued to cement why he only kept giving me more bullet points to argue for him.
Very true. He also proved, like, in a time where it was all about big, larger than life, huge, crazy dudes, and for him to be more on the smaller side as far as wrestling goes and to still have the top spot. So that was already commendable in and of itself. Mr. WrestleMania, the showstopper, the icon. Yeah. All those names, come on. Those aren't just random nicknames, like Texas Rattlesnake, Bionic Redneck. No, those are the icon. The showstopper and all that stuff. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mr. WrestleMania.
Oh, yes. And if you ask me, the only other person that has anywhere remotely near an argument for the name Mr. WrestleMania is the guy who had pretty much a showcase match on it for a good 24 years in The Undertaker. The Shriek, which I don't think was touched on earlier in Jazz's point.
I should have said
was Shriek. One of the biggest things, holding like one of the biggest attractions for WrestleMania for the longest. It got to the point to where it did. Yeah, Taker is probably my favorite character in wrestling. And the longevity of it, just the fact that you can go back and look at any moment, just get instantly nostalgified into it, just like, I remember this. Here goes Taker. He's gonna come out the thing. He's gonna set the coffin on fire. Oh, they're gonna druid you fucks down. And I just know it doesn't matter what time or place. If I'm watching wrestling and that fucking bell goes off, I have the Pavlovian response to mark the fuck out. Like there are others. Yes, I'll do the same for the glass breaking. I'll do the same for Yes, we all understand. But
The car
that
crash.
bell, yeah, the car crash. But that bell is something else. Like because and it's always just a sense of you done fucked up now when you hear it. Brock has a similar effect, but it's not the Taker effect.
And then it's a gong, and then it goes instantly black.
Yes, it's dark. It's the whole atmosphere. It is about as much an example of pro wrestling as it gets, or of sports entertainment to be more precise, because we're in the modern era. But he is pretty much that. This fucking undead zombie wizard man that for some reason is in a wrestling ring.
Mortician. He's a mortician.
But he's undead. Yeah, he's an undead mortician dude. He's not a wizard, but he just strikes people with lightning. Sure, whatever. You tell me. Yeah, he's got literal superpowers. Like, no one questions it. He just comes out here and he says, I'm dead, and thus I can strike people with lightning, and my brother's a demon. And you're like, damn right. That's the goddamn Undertaker.
Facts.
Hilarious.
And then also too, my number one said about your number one when he was going to have a match with him to talk about your atmosphere. He said a few times, Stone Cold has said, I had all these ideas of what I was going to do. When we got in the ring, we were going to call it in the ring and this and that. And then watching Taker come out, I got so caught up and mesmerized by this entrance. I forgot
it all.
Everything.
We got it all. Because that's fucking terrifying. The fucking Randy Orton Survivor Series win, and then the fucking bell rings, the Druids bring out the goddamn coffin, sets it on fire with lightning, and Randy just, oh no. And this fucking Taker comes out and beats everyone in the ring's ass. Fucking phenomenal. And he does it time after time. Nothing is like a Taker or Kane return from being away. Those are like cinema every fucking time. I love it. Yeah,
and then
Taker.
on a smaller scale of iconic, the fact that we would always look forward to what his entrance was going to be at WrestleMania. What's he going to do this time?
Like I said, he's the only person that remotely comes close to having an argument for being Mr. WrestleMania, aside from Shawn Michaels, to me.
Yeah, I do not fault you for saying that.
And by the end of the career, Roman might have a good argument for that.
Just because of the main events.
Right. I mean, but that stat is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to end his career with something like 12 or 13 WrestleMania, like, end of show, especially in an era where there's, like, 4 main events per WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He is, like, the end of show, the main event, like, fucking, like, 12, 13 times or something like that.
How many of those did we care about?
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying. There are going to be members of the tribe that are going to use that stat at some point.
Yeah.
Technically, in the streak, Undertaker won one of them by disqualification. Yes, so yeah, you know. Because
did everybody talk about their ones?
No.
Okay.
Go.
Oh, okay. I got The Rock. Yeah. Y'all too. Pete and Jazz both said what they said about him. I really don't have too much to add to it because I will say he is my favorite wrestler of all time. I just, like I said before in one of these videos we've done before, I do not like the Final Boss version of him, but other than that,
Boss was great, but okay.
He's my favorite wrestler of all time. There you go.
All right.
Nice.
Yes.
So what?
Hey, Jazz, you.
What?
I wasn't going to participate in that.
Same.
Bill said he wasn't going to participate.
Same. Me and Bill just said, we're like,
That might be the sole reason why he's number 4 on my list.
Bill said
added one of the worst
Oh,
things in wrestling.
We're gonna do this. We weren't supposed to do this, Bill.
What
No,
chance
I'm
nobody-
joking. That was a joke. That was a
Okay.
joke, although
Because
true.
pay-
Although some
pay your
jokes have
ticket.
truth in them.
You pay your ticket, you can chant whatever you want.
Right. Within as long as it's not offensive.
As long as it's not crazy offensive. You pay your ticket,
I
you can chant whatever.
fundamentally disagree with that, I guess. Because I think if you're paying your ticket, you should be. If you're going to see a wrestling show, you should be a part of the show.
You should
which
be
means,
a part of the show.
Well, which means cheering good guys, booing bad guys, and not actively trying to sabotage a wrestler doing a promo.
I think who was it?
That's not the kind of fan that I'm going to be at an event.
My number 5 slot, Mr. Jericho, he has also said, and I'm not saying it just because he said, but he has said, you pay your ticket, you can chant whatever you want.
Sure.
And he goes with the flow. But I mean, I'm just saying, you pay your ticket, you can chant whatever you want. One of those things that people have constantly chanted. I mean, the original one-word catchphrase that got over. What?
Thought you were gonna say
what?
woo.
Well, you could say woo, but woo could be onomatopoeia. That's me making an argument for that. Anyway, no, seriously. That's why when I was asking off camera if we were doing favorites or if we were doing who we think are GOATs, because my favorite wrestler of all time is The Rock. So The Rock would have been number 1. But if I have to honestly think about it, if you talk about somebody who they say had the most drawing power, somebody who sold the most merch, somebody who ushered wrestling into the boom period and carried it on his back in the boom period and possibly killed the business by turning into a bad guy, all those signs point back to one certain Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you talk about somebody who you could basically say, yeah, you needed Vince, and he always gives credit to the tango, but if you talk about somebody that the highest wrestling has ever been from a mainstream level to where wrestlers became household names, and the story was pretty much about said person.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the fallout of everybody else, but you could say the main character of the Attitude Era was a certain Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh yeah.
All of these point back to Stone Cold being the number 1 guy and possibly the greatest wrestler of all time from all kind of levels. And then the fact that, yeah, he said that he had to switch up his in-ring wrestling style because he Owen Hart messed his neck up, all that stuff. So he had to switch up his in-ring style. But if you think about it, it worked for the character. Suddenly comes back, bald head, goatee, and then what he did with Mike Tyson. What Mike Tyson did for them, but what he did with Mike Tyson. There you go. All of these signs point back to Stone Cold put the company on his back, so to speak. And just
God damn, the guy fast counted me. The guy fast counted me. Supposed to have a championship count. 1, 2, 3. Nice slow count. Mike was too quick with it.
I didn't know whether this should have won my watch.
Hunt Harrisworth. Yeah. But yeah, man. Stone Cold has to be number 1. He has to be number 1.
All right. Are you all ready for the definitive top 10 GOATs?
I am.
As decided by the 4 of us. Number 10, coming in with 7 total points, Mr. Kenny Omega. Number 10 GOAT of all time.
I was gonna say, do we have enough of the same picks to be 10? But I guess we do.
Yes. Luckily, I was able to sneak. A couple of my picks were prominent enough to where me voting for them solely put them in the top 10.
How are you calculating?
They get points based off of where we put them.
So if you put a wrestler at 10, they got 1 point. If you put a wrestler at 1, they got 10 points.
Got you.
Shout out to Tables, Lists, and Chairs. You don't watch that, do you? On Wrestle Talk, do you?
No, Bill does.
No, I'm saying Ibn.
Yeah. So for Kenny, Kenny got Ibn's 6 points and Omari's single point.
Okay.
Coming in as the 9th GOAT because he got a whole big fat 8 points from your boy, Macho Man Randy Savage. Coming in at number 8 with 3 points from Ibn and 5 points from myself, Kurt Angle.
That's a good pick.
Coming in at number 7 because he got a big 2nd place nomination by Big Bro Ibn. Number 7 GOAT of all time is Bill Goldberg.
That's funny. I was not expecting that, but I'm not mad.
What number is that again?
7.
7.
At number 6 with a total of 9 points. Also, due to one single 2nd place nomination by myself, Bret Hart.
Oh.
I guess technically Kurt Angle and Randy Savage are tied, and Bret Hart and Goldberg are tied. But when I sorted the list by total points, it put, I guess, because Bret is alphabetically above Goldberg.
So it was Kenny Omega, then what? Kurt Angle?
Kenny Omega, then Kurt Angle and Randy Savage tied with 8 points. Bret Hart and Goldberg tied with 9 points. So now we have number 5 on the list. Everybody from here has multiple nominations. Number 5 on the list with a total of 14 points. Matching points of 7 points each from Jazz and Omari comes John Cena. Number 4 with 16 total points, 6 from Omari and 10 from myself, is Mr. WrestleMania, the showstopper, Shawn Michaels. Number 3, GOAT of all time, 18 total points. 8 from Ibn, 10 total points from Omari. You have The Undertaker. No, not Ibn. That was placed on Jazz.
I was about to say that was me, right?
That was a Jazz points. The Rock comes in at number 2 with a total of 28 points. He had the first point selection from Ibn and 2 second place selections from Omari and Jazz.
We landed in the same position twice.
And then, very appropriately, as the only person who is on all 4 lists,
Facts,
with 7 points from myself, 8 points from Omari and Jazz, or Omari and Ibn, and 10 points from Jazz, 33 points total, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There we go. Got the
That is it.
Down there.
I feel like that is a very appropriate 10 GOATs.
That's going from 10 to 1. That is an appropriate list.
I think so you guys didn't have a couple of my selections on there. I think the big one obviously for me is I didn't have The Rock on my list. He probably would have been like 11 or 12 on mine.
Is it because of tenure for you?
It's a little bit of tenure. It's a little bit of the hot take that I presented in the last time that we were all together, where sometimes The Rock can be just a little cheesy for me, a little corny. You know, in the era of Stone Cold, Rudy Poo candy ass always hit my ear weird.
And yes, hit mine weird, but who, tomato tomato.
Say yes, hit your ear weird, but you like what?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Because what was earned?
Okay.
No,
anyway.
We're just
Am I going to argue it again?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No. I just said okay. I
say I'm the oblivious.
As the list started, I regretted not putting Macho Man and other people on there, but at the same time, as much as I love going back and watching clips of their promos and stuff and the matches that you've shown me, I was not. That was before I started watching wrestling, so I don't have the same level of nostalgia that I do for some of the other people I ended up placing in my top 5 or top 10 list. But yeah, Randy Savage obviously needed to be mentioned. Kurt Angle obviously needed to be mentioned. Everybody else on this list, like I said, I think it's great that we came with the final total top 10 that we did because I think it's a great list, the top 10.
Yep. I can run down. So we had Kenny Omega ending the top 10. Right after Kenny Omega, you have Triple H, Will Ospreay, Sting, Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Ric Flair, Mick Foley, Seth Rollins, Trish Stratus, Jeff Hardy, Bayley, Roman Reigns, Roddy Piper, Brock Lesnar, Bruno Sammartino, Manami Toyota, Scott Hall, Randy Orton, and Mercedes Moné. In that order.
What was that?
That was just our full list of names.
Oh,
in
okay.
descending points total.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when you list everybody that we've mentioned today.
Right.
Got you.
And basically, as soon as you get after Triple H, you never have, like, it's all just single nominations. So it's basically just, where did you have this person on your list?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
So Triple H and above is really kind of the definitive mixture of all 4 of us.
Shall we talk about possible omissions or no?
If anybody has any thoughts, does anybody have a name?
My honorable mentions were already on here. My dishonorable mention, we've already dishonorably mentioned him, so I don't have anybody.
There were 3 people that possibly could have been mentioned, 2 people who definitely could have been mentioned, but I didn't mention them because of things that happened. One of them was a certain Ruthless Aggression star, obviously, Chris Benoit.
I wouldn't have had him even with.
But I'm saying,
with the controversy.
I don't know if I would have put him, but I didn't even consider him because of. But I don't know if I would. I wasn't even there. But then, of course, the other 2 who I think easily, if certain things hadn't happened within the last few years, I would have put Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan somewhere on here. But no, yeah.
Hulk Hogan was close for me. I was close to.
I was not going to include them. They don't.
Maybe he would be somewhere near the bottom of my list, specifically on aura and charisma thing. Like it's almost the exact opposite of a Benoit. The antithesis of zero charisma, almost like no outside of ring aura at all. And then you had Hogan, who was almost pure outside the ring aura,
and not too much in ring.
Yeah. I would say maybe Hogan somewhere lives around 13 on my list if I didn't personally dislike him also and didn't want him on my list.
2 people who I considered did not get mentioned was CM Punk and Lita. Those are 2 people whose names I did write down, but I did not include on the top 10. But I was like,
No, that's fair.
When you think of Trish, who's the counterpart? So I was like, but Trish is much higher and more transcendent and bigger name for women's wrestling and all of that to me. Yeah, and then I put down Punk, but then I was like, but Punk doesn't do enough for me if we're talking about impact and tenure and all of that. But I mean, if I had watched him in Ring of Honor, maybe I would be singing a different tune. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I miss most of Punk's career, and what I have seen of Punk, I find a little overrated.
I'm not mad at that.
In WWE, yes.
Anyway,
I was waiting for Ibn to say the line. I was thinking of like the Bart meme of us all turning around and being like, "Say the line, Ibn."
Yeah, no, I like the list the way it turned out.
I fuck with that list. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, right on. Well, that is our definitive top 10 GOATs. Join us again when we talk some more bullshit on here, right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. You can find all kinds of different videos, all kinds of cool things. Jazz, do you want them to find you on the internet?
Please, yes, go ahead and look for your boy. You could go ahead and follow me on Instagram under the name Forever Super Jazz. That's going to be FOREVER. I forgot to spell forever. Super Jazz, SUPER. That's what I used to always say. It's been that long. SUPERJAZ, forever spelled correctly. There you go. And of course, I started a theater company. Two of the people on this chat right now have been able to come and grace me with their presence in the audience.
Fuck you, Omari.
I was gonna say, of course, Omari is in Florida, so hasn't had the opportunity to.
This piece of shit.
This dude had to fucking do before I could get it out. Damn. No, I started a theater company, and we've just finished our first 2 seasons. Pretty much, we've got something coming up in November, actually, to go ahead and close out this season. So we didn't finish the season, but whatever. It's in the Aquarian Rising Productions. So you can go ahead and look us up on Facebook under Aquarian Rising Productions, or you can look us up on Instagram, official Aquarian Rising, and that's going to be Aquarian, not Aquarius. So AN, not US.
Hello.
Mark, Pete.
Oh, everybody knows where they can find me. They can find me here. They can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi, GIOTAVI. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming Earth Day 240. You know what that means. Evan, you got anything you want to say to folks before we get to Bill? You want us folks to find you?
No, I don't do social media anymore. And the only reason I did it this time was I was trying to do Facebook dating. It didn't work out. So online dating sucks ass. So I'm not doing social media anymore. Fuck it.
You can find Big Bro Ibn if you search GPW St. Louis Independent Wrestling right there on the front row, watching some classic St. Louis Independent Wrestling. You got your man Bill Smith, Big Bro Ibn. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos popping up on. If you've searched them out on YouTube,
you can
we're
see
right there. We're
cool.
on hard camera side.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Or opposite hard camera side. We're on camera side.
Right. That's cool. Shoot, was the game good, Ibn?
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit! The game actually was good.
Glory Pro Wrestling or GPW St. Louis. I'm not sure what the handles are if you were to search them online. But yeah, they got Instagram and YouTube, and we are featured pretty prominently on their on videos from their most recent show.
That's awesome.
See, so we don't just talk shit. We're out there in the streets.
Yeah, you can find them on actual wrestling footage.
You asked me if the game was good, Jeff.
Yeah, because you've been watching it the whole time.
Man, it was
Game of the fucking week.
40-41.
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently.
Oh, and also, you know what? Also on this channel, you can find actually Omari is improperly holding that championship right now because it belongs to Big Bro Ibn, according to the Feo Grande WWE 2K5
Well,
universe.
see, that's the Feo Grande championship. This is the championship of life.
So apparently, you are beating all of us in life. I fuck with that. I want to be you when I grow up, type shit.
Have a good one, everybody.
Adios.